Summer break is upon us, which means school's out for summer, as the old lyric goes, right? It has us asking the question, which is the best anime world to vacation in? And who is the best anime character to go on a vacation with? Plus, can the 8 save Captain Obi? Can Jinya stop the slasher? And what is going on with Kudo and Kujirai? Plus, can Ling Ling save Moon? All that and more on episode 5 of Dad-ime, Dad Anime Club. And if you're new here, welcome. We are so glad that you're here. You can think of this like book club, but for seasonal anime. So without further ado, I think we should get into it. I am your host, Dallin, the dad in the Jujutsu Kaisen shirt. And rounding out this panel of otakus, we have 2 other dads. We've got Tyler, the master of manga, and we've got Preston, the dungeon-dwelling adventurer who has been reincarnated into this podcast.
I love the peace sign there. Like I just needed a sparkle.
Yeah. I was hoping I'd get a magical girl transformation, but it didn't happen.
Maybe we can add it in post.
Some Sailor Moon moments there.
So how are you guys doing? It's been a
Great.
week. It feels a lot longer than a week since we last talked, honestly.
Well, like with school, like you said, school's getting out, and so I'm wrapping up my job, right? Like everyone's like leaving for the summer, and so like it's been busy. It's just so busy.
Yeah. Are you glad that you're at the tail end here? Are you just like counting
every
down
year
the
I feel like
days?
every year it feels the same, and then right around like August, I start going, I don't even know how to do my job anymore. Like I forgot. And then I like go jump right back in, and it's just this whole roller coaster of emotion again.
Yeah. Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, it's a pretty good time.
I mean, I don't have anywhere near the stress of being a teacher, but so I can't relate to it. So don't take this like wrong if I feel like I'm just treading on your very stressful ground that you walk. But it has been hell week for me as well. Just, doing dad stuff, and then of course, with my job, I do project management for a financial company, and we're just like in the thick of it right now. We're getting fully absorbed by this bank, and so my brain is just broken right now. I'm like, I need anime to save me.
Well, yeah, it's like you like go to work, and like it's just a nice release to just sit down and watch a good show. And like it just feels like I haven't had time this week, and I know there's like it's piling up. Like I watched like last week right after we talked, I just watched all the episode 4s, and I haven't even had a chance to sit down and watch One Piece or anything
To digest it.
Summer
Get
break,
into
man.
it.
That'll be your time to just. You know what we should do when you officially go on summer break? We should pick a retro show that we can just kind of watch.
Yes.
You know, low stakes, just for fun. Whether we talk about it or not on the podcast, I don't care. But it just seems like the perfect time to just unwind, you know?
Get some Inuyasha in, get some comfy anime.
Which I watched. I picked up Inuyasha again. So like just to like have on the side when I'm bored, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to think about anything. I need something playing in the background. Like my kid's asleep, I'm watching Inuyasha while I fold laundry or something.
That's one I need to give a go.
Yeah,
until you hear Kagome 100 times. Then you might put pause.
No, that and what do you call it? The closing song for that one is like the staple of my childhood. You know that you left the TV on and fell asleep when you start hearing Inuyasha's closing song, because then it would be like, whoa, what's going on? Those are the two that I'm like, you stayed up too late.
Solid. So let's get into it. What are the best anime worlds to take a summer vacation in? That's the question. And who are the best anime characters to take that vacation with? So let's start with worlds, and then we'll get over to characters. Who wants to go first?
I got a couple.
Okay.
Go Preston.
Go Tyler.
Go Preston.
Okay.
Go.
So
go Tyler.
you go first, Preston. Okay. Just immediately, my first answer, Pokemon. That is the world I wanted to go in. After some deliberation, I was like, I don't want to go to half the animes I love to watch. So like Jujutsu Kaisen, I don't want to go to that world. Right. I don't want to go to Berserk. I don't want to go to Full Metal.
No.
I don't want to go anywhere.
So
I want to go Studio Ghibli films.
So in Pokemon, is there a specific region that you want to go to? Like Kanto region? Are you going to like Orange Island, or like what's just all of it?
I'm getting myself a Charizard and I'm flying around. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nice.
I love it. That sounds like a lot of fun.
All right, that's a solid pick.
Yeah, Pokemon's my first. That was the first thought I had. But a Studio Ghibli film was my second thought. Like Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away. I don't really care.
Bathhouse.
Like I just loved like the magic in each of those worlds. Like Princess Mononoke, freaking loved that world.
Or even
Like I don't
Kiki's
want to be
Delivery
involved
Service.
in any of the conflict. I just want to enjoy a nice hot spring and a very chill environment.
So you just want to go to Japan and just relax.
You've got it.
Totally.
All right, Preston, what do you got? What's your number
So
one
I'll
pick?
throw a little bit different spin on it. So you said Pokemon. One of the ones that I thought was fun, would be fun is Digimon. So that
Oh my
one's
gosh.
another world where that same type. It's the same like just being able to see these weird, different, crazy things. Hidden Leaf Village is another one. And if I went there, I would have to bring Naruto along to bring me out to the best ramen shops, which is basically like one. But got to get the tour in the right way.
Yeah.
Pretty much any hot springs. Like when you see the hot springs episodes and stuff, and you're just like, oh man, that looks like amazing. It'd be super fun to go and see. But like the specifically Spirited Away's bathhouse, I think that one would be really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, just to see all the different ups and downs and like the smells of the food and the smells of the herbs in the water, and I don't know, it'd be really sweet.
So like maybe Ba Sing Se and like Avatar might be cool.
Yeah.
Just something that's like really nice, or like even the Fire Nation, because they look like they have really good food there.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, those are the settings, I think. How about you?
I think we're all on a very similar page because I also said the Spirit World and Spirited Away, going to that
We're
bathhouse.
going.
Okay.
We're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something about the like magic of a Studio Ghibli world where it's just so much like whimsy. I want to see soot sprites. I want to go take a bath next to a mud glob monster. I want to
Okay,
go.
so it's clear we all need a break. We're all like, I just need to take a bath.
Yeah, plus it would be cool. There's dragons and a witch and a train to nowhere. Like it's just an awesome world. Just a bunch of whimsy. Another one that popped in my mind right away was the world of Freyren. I forget what the world is called, but
Oh my gosh, yes.
That
Yeah, that's
world-
actually number 2 on my list.
yeah,
You got dragons. You
Yeah.
got magic.
yeah, like I wouldn't want to take part in any of the conflict going on, and like the demons
Yeah.
would scare me, and I would get my butt kicked by the magic out there. But it just seems like a place where you could kind of travel pretty safely and just go from village to village, town to town, savoring the landscape, savoring the food, good company, just a nice slow pace, like almost like The Hobbit, right? Just like let's just walk and enjoy each other's company on this little
You
journey.
take the free run pace, right? You learn the spells that don't necessarily. You're not Zoltrocking everything you see. And
Yeah, I'm taking the spell that teaches me how to make a field of flowers. Like that's exactly it. Yep.
love it.
Yeah, and I think really when I think about that one, like it's after Heimel has saved, all the regions. You're just enjoying the world he made. Because I also thought about that. I was like they have good food in that. They have good community in that. You're just gonna walk nice and slow. I might stay in the northern region, hang out in the southern region.
Yeah.
Or even
that's
like
a good
Delicious in
vacation.
Dungeon, like the fact that the monsters are edible. Like, I mean, I guess you think about like if you're out in the woods here in like reality, there's things that are edible that are considered like monstrous. Yeah. But I don't know.
I thought about that one. I kept it off
foodie.
my list. I think it was one of my runner-ups. I did add a couple runner-ups. I thought that was a really solid choice. Again, kind of for the same reason as Freyrin, just like slow-paced adventure, low stakes, have some good food. Yeah. So I think we're all sort of on the same page. Okay, Tyler, what do you got next?
I got another one for you guys. You guys are gonna like this one. So I talked Studio Ghibli, which we got. We talked Fearin', which we got. Now I was thinking, what dad needs time for themselves and an unlimited amount of time? It's the hyperbolic time chamber. Yes, the hyperbolic time chamber. You need unlimited time for yourself. You got a new video game, hyperbolic time chamber. You need a break and you need to read a book, hyperbolic time chamber. You can bring all those Brandon Sandersons in.
Speaking of dads and like great dads, not so great dads, right? They're in the hyperbolic time chamber. In that Dragon Ball Daima, he actually Goku. He says something, and then she's like, "Well, are you sure you raised a kid?" And he's like, "I really wasn't around for anything." And so then you're just like, "Oh, like they pulled that one on the nose." No.
Well, and I'm thinking about it. He did spend a year with his kid.
It's true.
Ooh, 1 year.
Yeah, but it's a year like condensed into like a couple days.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
No, but for real, man, hyperbolic time chamber would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Catch up on all the hobbies.
yeah.
For
So
sure.
that was one my little brother said. He's like, yeah, you should you should mention the hyperbolic time chamber. I was like, yeah, I should. And then my other runner up, which was not a safe world, is Hunter x Hunter. Not going near the Chimera ants, but I want to be a Nen master. That would be awesome.
And have your hair go.
Solid.
Really...
Yes, all the way up. All future me.
Solid. All right, person, you got any other places that are calling out to you?
Yeah, I was thinking there was a couple places in like Skypiea and some other places that are like in One Piece. I think it would be kind of fun. It depends on who you bring with you, right? But my wife had a really good comment about bringing Nami along, and my reasons were different than her reasons, we'll say. But she was saying that Nami's like always has her nose in something, and whenever they go to somewhere new, she always seems to find the really interesting or like niche places that are like hidden, the diamonds in the rough, so to speak. So, and I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah,
I think
I'd love
each
to do that.
character has that moment where they find something that's unique, and I really think like Robin found stuff in Skypiea. I think Nami finds some hidden chambers and rooms sometimes. I think Luffy found some interesting stuff in Alabasta. So like I think you can really like Robin, actually my favorite one that Robin found was the big arc in Fishman Island. So yeah. So like I mean like all of those, there's these little weird places I want to go see in One Piece, but definitely don't want to live in a world where this like where it just feels like it's all water.
Yeah,
that's water world. I don't want to do that.
Was that Thalassophobia? The fear of deep water?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's me.
I thought about putting One Piece, but I don't know enough about One Piece to know how scary that world is. And so I'm like, you know what?
Diverse,
like,
right?
Being on the ship with Monkey and the crew would be great. Outside of that, I don't know. Like, I want like a pirate adventure. Sounds fun for a vacation.
What you're saying is you want a boat and you want Sanji for all the food, right?
Pretty much.
So I I brought this up to my little brother. I'm like, I want the whole One Piece crew, and I want the end of arc party for the vacation. Different world. Just different world, everyone in the crew there. And he was like, well dude, then you use Cowboy Bebop it, you get in a spaceship and you go into space with them. I'm like, that would be insane.
Yeah,
like
there you go. There you go. Like take the Voltron ship and go flying around and
Solid. All right, so my last two that I had that I thought of was the world of Shangri-La Frontier. I thought would be awesome. And also super low stakes, because if you die, it's just a video game. It's fine. You can just turn it off and come back. But I think basically I just want a vacation where I can just log into a video game and do that for like 2 weeks straight is really, I think, what I'm getting at. But Shangri-La Frontier especially, that world just seems so cool. It's kind of like they took everything that made Sword Art Online really cool and then just cranked it up to an 11, put a fun story in there, got rid of the kind of problematic stuff of Sword Art Online. It just seems awesome, and I would love to be there.
I really like that idea of just being able to envelop yourself in the game and just be part of it. That would be a really good vacation. Too bad technology hasn't caught up yet.
Yep. Another 50 years. The other one
that'd be cool is like, whenever I was thinking about these, I was thinking, okay, like who would I go with? Then I was also thinking, okay, like who would I bring with that would be like family friendly? Because like I wouldn't want to bring like I don't know, maybe Frankie would be a lot of fun with the kids, or like just to show off
till he loses his clothes.
Exactly. Anya from Spy Family, I think would be hilarious. Like just to watch her and my kids go and like, I don't know, rule the town, doing romping. It'd be fun.
I do have a cheat answer. All right, for World. So a while back, a anime came out called The War of the Rohirrim. And so technically, it opens up the entire world of Tolkien. So I put Aedoras as a place I would like to go on vacation. Obviously, like Hobbiton would be great, but that's not in the show. So but Aedoras would be awesome just to go live like a Viking in Tolkien's world. That would be a ton of fun.
All right, Don,
so again,
you
there's your cheat
fear
answer.
of death.
You win.
Fear of death. So I'm avoiding all of that. But speaking of fear of death, I feel like I wanted to pull someone out of a show that has too much death. And I love that you picked that shirt today, because I want Yuji Ichidori to come with me. I feel like that kid needs a break, and he would just make any time a good time. Right? If there's not demons to kill and fight, I think he's just gonna have a good time.
Yeah, he's gonna teach you about like cheesy horror movies and talk about Jennifer Lawrence. right?
Yeah.
That's the friend.
The Boogie Bro has to come too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was one on my list too. Like he'd
Yeah.
just be so much fun. My problem is that I'm an ambivert, so after a while I would be like, okay, like I need you to calm down, like please, I need to go and sit down by myself. And the guy's like, come with me, let's go.
Yeah.
That's a solid pick. Keeping in the same world, I actually picked Gojo as a person I'd want to go on
Gojo,
vacation
yeah.
with.
Okay, I gotta hear this because I'm not sold.
I think Gojo is just laid back. He doesn't play by the rules, which is perfect for a vacation. I'm the type of person where like I want like a loose itinerary on my vacation, but I don't want to be ruled by like, hey, okay, at this time you're at this place, and at this time you're at this place. Like I just kind of want like a generic, we'll do these things today, however we get to them. And I feel like Gojo would be perfect for that. We'd get into all sorts of mischief. Plus, like he's a handsome dude. It's just gonna be a fun time. We're gonna have interesting people around us just because he's Gojo. So you're going to meet a ton of cool people too.
So, I mean, I picked the whole One Piece crew. So I hope you know that. Like, who am I bringing with me on one of them is a whole One Piece crew. But I think Gojo doesn't sound me as the guy who can calm down. Like, he is literally working all the time. And like, think about it. Like his red and purple that he does, he's running one of those at all times. Yeah. Right. So like this guy he's a workaholic. Like, I don't know if I want to take him.
All right, Preston, who are you bringing with? But you got Anya, you got Naruto. Who else is coming?
Anya, Naruto would be fun. I think Edward Elric would be cool from Full Metal Alchemist.
Nice.
Just like if you ever need something, like, hey man, we're out here on the beach. I would love if we had a chair. Like he could just put it up. The other one that'd be kind of fun is this one's more on the mischievous side, but Ryuk from Death Note.
Yeah,
it could be you could get into some real.
You can get in some trouble.
That'd be kind of fun. Find some apple stalls.
Yeah. Is he invisible to everyone else? Only you see him, or is he just fully visible to everybody? Because that might bring in some
at his discretion. Yeah, at his discretion, right?
Yeah,
solid.
You could clear a beach real fast.
Private beach.
Yeah, that's the beach episode, right? So yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't know if I'd pick a Shinigami to come with me. Like my brother was like, yeah, you should say like someone from Bleach. You love Bleach, and I'm like,
Bleach is good.
Yeah, but I don't want to die.
What's
like,
his name? Did you bring Cone?
If I bring Cone though, like problems will come. Right? I get Orihime in like a beach outfit, but then I also get problems will show up and I'll die.
That's true.
So I picked no one from anywhere I would die. So like Yuji, probably like no Sukuna, obviously, like his pre-Sukuna Yuji. I'm taking him. Right? He just his grandpa's dead. He needs a good vacation before we ship him back to his world. But yeah, I was absolutely like no death. Sadly,
Ash Ketchum. Nothing dies there, right? They just
nothing. Well, I mean, they did just retire Ash, so he's not too old.
That's fair.
He's finally 13.
What did he? Yeah, I was gonna say, what did he turn 13?
Too old for Pokemon.
It's retirement age in the Kanto region.
He pulled the Final Fantasy X and realized, I'm not real, and then dissipated into the ether.
Aww.
So I actually picked one death-threatening group. I picked actually was I just feel like Yusuke Urameshi and Kuwabara together would make a great vacation. Yeah. So from Yu Yu Hakusho, that would be a good group. Like I feel like I could sit back on the beach with a drink in my hand and watch the chaos reign and just enjoy every minute of it.
And no one's gonna mess with you because Kuwabara would just go whoop them.
Yeah, but Kuwabara is just like a cool dude, and Yusuke, like if given time, I know he would calm down.
For sure.
Like he'd be all grumpy at first at the beach, but then you'd be like, okay, just chill, bro.
While you guys were going through them, did you guys have? So I know you were mentioning your brother. My wife had wife picks, and one of those was Inuyasha. So that's an honorable mention.
There you go.
And I asked her nicely. I was like, "Hey, is this why you like werewolf romances?" And she's like, I never thought of it that way. And I was like, oh, sweetheart.
She's just living out her Inuyasha.
Yeah.
Nice.
So my wife is a foodie, and she said the honorable mention is Senshi.
No, dang it, that was my next pick.
He's doing all the cooking.
You stole Shinji from me. Oh, dude. Yes, I think Shinji is like the perfect character to take on vacation. Like he's going to do all the cooking. You're going to learn a ton of stuff from him in the kitchen. Like he's a teacher and a chef. It's basically taking like anime Gordon Ramsay with you on vacation. Like it's just going to be a good time.
A non-angry anime.
Well,
yeah.
the best part taking Shinji is I don't have to go to Delicious in Dungeon. So Preston's idea of going to the dungeon, I don't have to do. Although I can't die in the dungeon, I don't want to experience death, right? Like, I want to just live my life happy. But if I take Senji with me and give him a home where he can cook me food, he would love that, right? Yeah. Like, that's what Studio Ghibli Senji.
Right. We all saw what happened to his mentality in ReZero after he died too many times. So definitely don't want to have that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got one more character I would take on vacation. All right, this is a deep cut. I'm going with a show called Gurren Lagann, and I'm gonna take Kamina with me because that dude takes everything to like 1,000%. There is no chill with him. It would be the most balls to the wall fun vacation. You'd probably end up in prison or dead, but it would be so much fun.
You're so true.
Okay.
It would be like The Hangover, essentially.
Pierce the heavens.
Yeah. It would be such a good time. Like, just imagine him in like a Vegas casino.
Oh my gosh.
You're getting kicked out. You're getting escorted out. You're getting taken in a back room, and the mob is beating you up for his behavior. Like, that's what's happening.
Have him, senior
Would
clapping
he get you out of the
hands,
chair? Like,
oh, it'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, if they're James Bonding you to a chair, like, who's getting you out? Like,
oh, it's him. He's going to just whip out his samurai sword and
for real.
Come save the day.
Just have him, Toto, and like one other person, and like you have the perfect mixture of just mischief and insanity.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
Any other characters you guys would want to take with you?
Gosh, there's just like, I mean, I want to take them all, but like, again, I think some of them, like, their world is part of their character, like we talked about last time. Like, the world is a character, and so like, I don't want to take Edward Elric or Alphonse, no offense, out of their world. Although horrible things happen to them, I don't want to take them out of their world. I think like they like, if I brought them to my world, they'd be so mad about the luxuries that I live in, right? Like, and they would not rest until they got back to my world. Like, I feel like they need to be in their own realm.
And their realm would fall apart too.
Yeah.
If they were gone.
Yeah.
What's the main character's name? Is Shinji, right? From Evangelion? Is that right? Shinji, the boy?
I think so.
I think it's
not
Shinji.
Shira, it's Shinji. It's Shinji.
Shinji.
I think it's Shinji. Whatever. That kid, I would want him to come just so I could slap him, because sometimes, like, you got to the very end and then you watch the movies and you're just like, he's back to the whiny little biatch. You're like, I just want to slap him.
Maybe he just needs a good vacation, you know? He just needs to get away from the hellspawn world that he's in.
Work harder, dude. Like, what the hell? Be like her.
Oh, man. All right. You guys want to dive into our episode 4 discussion?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Where do you want to start? Because I think there's a lot of really good, like, cliffhanger episodes this week. Like, pretty much all of the shows we watched, maybe except for one, ended with, like, a WTF moment.
I think if we want to talk full circle, like, and clean cut, right, Sword of the Demon Hunter, I feel like that has the nicest ending cap to this episode. I think after that we should hit Fire Force, because, you know, there's more going on. Yeah. And then I think Kowloon, and we save To Be Hero X for the last two.
Let's do it. So Sword of the Demon Hunter, episode 4. These episodes, again, they don't have title names. They're just the number. So episode 4, Jinya and Natsu get attacked by the slasher thought to be a demon. After Mosuke arrives to help and Jinya brandishes his blade, the demon quickly vanishes into the darkness. So that's kind of the synopsis of the episode. And let's just try and piece together sort of the chronological events here. So we start with Ufa and Jinya talking. It kind of just continuation of where the last episode ended, as he's walking her back to the soba noodle shop. And we get another flower conversation.
Yeah.
Did you notice anything about this one? Because I'm pointing to you now. You're like the plant guy.
Yeah, I'm now a botanist. So no new flowers. Like, he's talking about chickweed. He's talking about all these other flowers. I did pay special attention. I think episode 3 and 4 are really 3 part 1, 3 part 2. Right. And I think that flower conversation from the end of episode 3 is still going through the episodes. Like, honestly, this was a 1 hour long episode. That's really what this one was. The chickweed and stuff is a memory of his sister, and I think that plays into the end of the episode.
I did notice they talked about the blooming winter Daphne. And basically the message she says is like, they survive all winter so that they can be the harbinger of spring. And I was like,
That's cool.
is that Jinya? Is he surviving the sad, lonesome, dark time so he can bring a happier, warm, new time? Is
Okay.
that like,
Well, when
I
you
don't
say
know.
that, I'm thinking about that first episode where he
Uh-huh.
comes up those steps. He's in the future, modern era, and he has those flowers, and there's this girl at his shrine, and he's crying, right? Right. That seemed, and it was spring. It's really pretty,
Mhm.
right? So is this series this dark time, and he is that flower? Or is he the willow from the last one that is living in two realms, both
Yeah.
human and demon? Is neither of those things
Yeah.
at the same time.
I don't know. There's a lot of symbolism with plants in this show, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to make of it all the time, to be honest. But I think you're right. Last episode really set up like this is Jinya. He's the guy in two worlds.
Yeah. Well, and I
Cool,
think that
it's cool
also
the bridges.
works. Yeah.
It
There's a lot of
bridges
bridges in
between,
actually.
like, oh, yeah, and this one too. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I like that it bridges the. I like lamp. No, the bridge. No, the bridge between, like, I don't know about you guys, but it wasn't until I was married that I learned about things like golden birthdays or like what the special meaning of flowers were, like all these weird like these subcultures.
Wait,
that
hold
for
on.
me
What's a
was just
golden
like, what?
birthday?
Like,
The
I don't
golden
know
birthday is
what
when
that
you
is.
when you turn your age on your day. So like for me, well, I don't want to say my birthday. I don't want to dox myself, but it would have happened a long time ago when I was a child because my
So
birthday
if
is
I'm
early
born
in
on
the
a
month.
13, if I'm born on
Yeah.
a 13,
Your
is when I
13th
turn
year is your-
13.
Mhm.
Well, that's past then. I'm screwed.
yeah, to me, I was like, I had no idea this was a thing. Like, I should have, whatever. All right, cool.
Dude, the person who's 31 is having a great golden birthday.
Uh-huh.
like if there's a day is like a 31, that's great for them. But I was 13. I didn't know anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned something new today.
So we get this, we continue on. They talk about the flower. Then we get this, like, his obsession with purpose has made him blind to his life, which is actually good. And Ufa kind of points that out. She's like, you're here eating soba noodles all the time. Like, you clearly have good memories. You always talk about your past in like
I
a
like that.
positive way. Why are you so like brooding? She just calls him out for being like a grumpy butthole.
And it's good that she
basically.
does that too, because that's human nature, right? Like when we were sad, we're like, hey, we want to hold on to this sadness, we want to like brood in it and like stew in it.
Mhm.
And when she calls that kind of stuff out, I think it's cool. Like it shows.
I
that
think you need to
things
think
are
of
more
it as
people.
like a foreshadow too. I think this episode could have had two different endings, and I think the way it ends really brings to light that idea. Because what is our other demon doing? Right? There's 3 demons in this episode.
Yeah.
And our other demon is literally searching for the killer of his wife, and he's super angry
so
about
sad.
that, and he's brooding in it, and he's not looking. He's not being a good investigator. He
Yeah.
has already come up with his conclusion. He knows what he wants to do.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of parallels between all the characters. Like they're all kind of going through the same sort of arc, but in variations on itself. And that's, I think, really cool. And speaking of Mosuke, he kind of followed them the whole way, and he just like pops up at the end. She's like, "Yo, what the heck? Why are you following me?" But perfect timing because the slasher reappears and kills like this town drunk basically, and knocks over this girl who, surprise, surprise, is the girl from episode 2.
Which is Jinya's sister.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
half sister, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So crazy. I wrote down this. The demon looks like a weird werewolf. That's my note. I'm terrible at writing notes.
Yeah, it does look like a werewolf. Yeah, I
Well,
kind of look like
who
an
can-
alligator too, a little bit. Looked like
Yeah.
a flat snout. It was.
So I just finished playing Bloodborne, and I'm like, this is a blood-starved beast. That's like that's what I'm
Yes.
looking at, and I'm
For
like, that's what this
sure.
looks like. That can airwalk. Like,
Yeah, that shocked me when it like runs away. He pulls out a sword to take it on, and it flees, but it just like bounces through the air. I was like, what the heck? They can, apparently demons can do that. They can just break physics now. So
yeah, and then
clearly
you find
that's
out
a
at the end of
power.
the episode that power is called Dart, and basically it's
Yeah.
a powerful kick that allows her to push the air under her, kind of like how a basilisk runs on water.
Yeah.
right, like just pushing really hard using the air.
So we run into the old bodyguard as well because he's obviously hanging out with Natsu, and they tip off Jinya about an old abandoned temple where supposedly they hear women's cries, and so he's like, "Well, this kind of is too good to be true. Like it seems like it matches up perfectly." But also Mosuke's there, invisible, and overhears it, and decides to go try and be a hero and go storm off on his own to take
Which
on
he
this
even
demon.
said in the last episode he was weak. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, he admitted to it. He
He's
said,
kinda
"Hey,
dumb.
I'm one of the weaker ones. Like I've got this cool
Yeah.
power, but I'm weak."
Yeah. So
He's-
like
he's
him
not very
doing this, yeah, doing a solo mission without the demon hunter is just crazy.
But
does
then again, he's already lost in that kind of like he doesn't have anything to lose, right? At that point, he's just kind of like, hey, worst thing that could
Joke's
happen
on
is
him, he
I could
does.
die and then I can be with my loved one.
Yeah, so he charges headlong in and just gets like fatally wounded like right away, just like speared through the gut. I would say this episode was a lot more violent than any of the other episodes up to this point.
Yeah, viewer
Like,
discretion. There's a lot.
There's a
going
lot
on
of
in this
gore
episode.
and guts and dismemberment. I was pretty shocked to be honest, because the show up to this point has been pretty mellow, and then this episode was just like, man, it could have been a Berserk episode, really. Like,
Yeah, but
it was
that first hour-long episode felt really mellow until the very end.
Yeah.
And I felt like they kind of followed that formula, like build up, thematic build up, finale. Like
Yeah, and when he finds this demon in the temple, it's devouring this woman, and like it's so disgusting. Like, think any of the worst anime like monsters eating people, like this is up there with them.
like gluttony, like a wet sound, like that's what I think of. Like,
yeah.
It's just chewing through the muscles and stuff.
It's
like,
monster ASMR.
Yeah. So like I think that part really got me interested because like the writers did a good job making us really think that monster is a monster just eating women. That's where all the bodies are going. You jump to those conclusions, and then our hero has just a little bit of while before he shows up, but then he shows up at the temple, right?
Yeah, he shows up and he takes Mosuke's power, which I didn't know demons could do that. So that's a cool new thing we learn, is that they can take on the powers of other demons. Like, I guess it makes sense because in the first episode he got the arm, right? I guess
but
I just
that demon
never
was unique. Because he said he feasted to gain the other demon's strengths. So he told him what his power was.
Right.
So he gained the arm of the demon, but then he also could feast on other demons.
So now he takes the invisibility, which is like honestly a goated power in this world. Like, gives him the element of surprise. He gets to just be like a shinobi or whatever the crap. He gets to be a ninja, you know. So
he gets Sasuke's invisibility.
Ninjutsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, he gets Sanji's dream of being invisible, right?
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
We get a flashback from Mosuke, kind of going back over his life where he meets his wife, and she decides to love him anyways, despite him being a demon. So we kind of get this like we were talking about earlier, where looking back on his life, he actually had a good life. So like, why is he brooding and being so sad? Like, he has a good life. And so it kind of calls back to that, like we talked about. And then we get the voice of the monster, which is kind of unique. I think basically maybe only Demon Slayer kind of has done this up to that, at least from shows that I've watched, where it kind of puts you in the perspective of the other character and makes you feel kind of bad about it.
I feel like this is an anime trope. They either make you they give you the backstory and then you hate the villain, like Frieza blowing up the home of the Saiyans, right? Planet Vegeta, right? That makes me hate Frieza. Frieza should die, right? But this one, you get the monster's backstory, and this is after he dismembers the monster, right? Yeah. Right? He's literally holding the monster's head. Well,
it's when it's like eating, and it's like its voice, and it's like I have to consume this body. I need to get a body so that I can go back home. And he's like, I can't remember why, but I need specifically a female body so that I can go back home.
Yeah, strong desire makes demons, like a strong emotion, right? Like, my body is ruined, is I think what the monster's talking about.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, Jinya now takes on the power of Mosuke to go take on this slasher. And when he uses these power, he's more demon than man at this point. Like, he's got the eye and the horn and the arm. Like, he's kind of losing himself. But it looks really cool. He looks like the Legos I used to play with as a kid, where I'd put like the head of one character in the body of another. Like, he's looking pretty cool. So yeah, then Jinya cuts off the demon's head, and he wants that demon's power. But I think what comes along with taking the power is also taking on their pain and their memories and their sadness and sorrow, and we learn the truth, which is totally effed up.
Yeah.
This episode.
So like at this point, if you're squeamish, like this is pretty rough. So he's holding this dismembered demon's head. He's gonna eat and feast on this demon. He has to look into the memories of this demon and know why it's a demon, and it's the other demon's dead wife.
Yeah.
It's just a
Shocking.
mind-blowing moment. Like it's a good full circle story because she is assaulted by humans and not a demon, not what we thought, right? So our original thought that it was a demon was wrong. She dies in the river and she comes back as a demon and she's seeking to go home to her husband. But just like how like traditionally when women are assaulted, they believe that like their bodies are ruined. I think that's the same thing here. This demon thinks her body's ruined. She's hunting for a fresh body. She's eating women. She's attacking men indiscriminately, like that are around these women, right? There's all a theme here. And then he chooses to put her dismembered head down. He doesn't feast on her because he feels sorry for her, which I think is a really important thing.
Yeah, and it just like nails that tragedy of Mosuke. Like he died at the hand of his wife trying to get justice for her, but they're both blind to the fact that each other were what they were, if that makes sense. So it's like back to the flower from the episode 3, right, where it's like it's two things but in neither realm. That's both of these characters right here. She's a human now living in the demon world, and he's a demon trying to live in the human world, and neither one is either, and they end up killing each other.
Well,
it's
and
so sad.
Doesn't that bring up that question of like, can she be fixed? Can she come back?
I don't know. It seems
Right?
like she thinks she can. And if anyone's gonna find out, I feel like Jinya would know because he's
what about
wanting
his
to do this
sister?
for his sister, right?
Yeah, right. Like I think this is a really solid episode for theme.
I
Right?
agree.
If we're just talking literary analysis, theme.
It's like
Absolutely.
looking at like the human capacity for like coping with trauma. Like how do we internalize it? And
Yeah.
I think beautiful episode. Really, if you just watch episode 3 and 4 together, it's a solid story. You could enjoy it from start to finish.
Yeah.
It's a good Monster of the Week episode, though.
It's real good, and it ends in a really solid way too, because Jinya does to get the sword. I think we missed this. He gets Mosuke's sword, which is supposedly forged specifically to do like extra damage to demons, and so he gives it to him with the intent to fulfill his oath to kill the slasher, essentially, or sorry, to kill the people who assaulted his wife.
Oh yeah.
Which turns out is not the demon, and so he still is like, well, I got the sword and I made an oath. So he finds the men who did it, and as the credits are playing and the happy like song is going, he's just out there slashing these dudes, which I felt was just like such a jarring, like the credits are playing and it's like la la la, we're so happy, and he's just killing these guys.
Like, isn't that like such a Quentin Tarantino ending, right? Like you have this just mix-match music, and then you have revenge porn all right there, right? Like you get the revenge that you as the viewer needed to see. Because I left that episode going, that's what needed to happen. And I felt like if you guys have ever watched or read the Witcher series, that's what I felt. I was like, that's a Geralt of Rivia move right there.
For sure.
You slayed the monster. That's what you did. The monster was metaphorical this time.
real monster.
Yeah, well, and the monster is almost always human in those
it's always
stories.
man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which was really good. Yeah, I think this was the best episode of sort of the Demon Hunter to date. And I don't even think it was close. Like, I think it's a big gap between the first. Well, I guess if you take 3 and 4 together, right? It's a big gap over 1 and 2, which is why I always suggest when you're starting an anime, like give it 3 episodes, give it 4 episodes, let it kind of cook for a minute. Because if you would have just dropped this after episode 1, you would have missed like what this built into. And now I'm a lot more interested in the show to see where it goes further, because I'm like, dang, that episode really hit it like checked all the boxes I want out of like a darker adult anime. Like it hit all those things.
And I really think that when I go back and I watch like the next episode, I know that the next episode's set up, but I know that there's payoff. Like that's really what they're setting me up for, is set up and payoff, set up and payoff.
Yeah,
like,
it's almost like it's doing little mini arcs, right?
Yeah. So
I like it.
It's definitely not one I can watch and just like watch though. I actually have to think and be a part of I have to ingest the film. Right? One Piece, sometimes I can just put it on and be like, okay, Luffy's doing this thing. But this, I have to like focus.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then we decided we would go to Fire Force next. Was the next one? All right, let's do Fire Force. I absolutely loved this episode, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This was such a fun one.
Oh my gosh,
So
I
this
love
one is
this.
called Episode 4, The Golden Secret, which I think is really no secret. We're finding out what's going on with Gold and how she can. Is it a she or is it a he? It's hard to tell with Japanese characters sometimes.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
That's all you get to know. Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. Yeah, we get to find out the secret to Gold's powers and why the 8 is struggling to fight.
Now, again, to viewer discretion, this is the raunchiest episode of Fire Force we've had in this season, and I laughed multiple times. So last time we left off, they blew through the wall and they started fighting Gold, right? That was immediately.
Yes.
They don't have their frontman. They don't have Arthur. And we have... Yeah.
My first note, again, because I suck at writing notes, is Gold's a cocky son of a bitch. She's about to get knocked down a peg.
That is the episode. So basically Gold stands in a singular spot and doesn't move and just throws metal objects back at the team.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And Licht has now created these goggles, right, that helps him analyze powers. So he's frantically trying to get to the root of how is Gold doing magnetism, because we know all of their powers are based around fire. So like, how is fire able to control magnetism? And he's running through everything trying to do this. Meanwhile, the team is like desperately holding on to their own, one step away from getting just obliterated by Gold.
2 steps from hell.
Yeah, exactly. We find out that Gold can be exposed to heat and become magnetized. And she's got that gold control arm that's letting her kind of do everything. So she's basically Magneto through flame, which is kind of cool.
Well, yeah,
conductive magnet.
Yeah, so she's moving objects by controlling their magnetic fields. Like, obviously this isn't like great science, but we see some really interesting scenes. So our main girl, who's our main girl who's fighting right
Tamaki?
now? Tamaki. I love Tamaki's like power up with this cat move stuff, but like her curse is that she gets like nude almost every episode.
Oopsie.
Right? She just drops down to her underwear. And so she's in the middle of this fight with Gold, and she's throwing everything she's got at Gold. Like, she's doing everything. And even...
we get this sweet like thermite bombs, right?
Yeah.
What's the redheaded dude who's like their inventor? I always forget his name. He creates these bombs for her that is like, hey, if you ignite these, your power is gonna like triple. And so she like lights them in her hands and basically fireballs Gold, which is so cool.
And Gold like basically redirects the heat. I don't know how she does that, but she's still standing in the same spot when that ends. And you're like, come on. And then Gold starts to pull on the only metal object on her body, which is her belt. Yeah. So like when raunchy episode, like, right. How convenient, right? So she rips the belt. And then, like, she started pulling on the belt, yanking it back and forth, and you can already see it coming. And she just drops out of her pants. But the best line comes right after that. It is the most solid line. And they all realize that the only piece of metal on them is the belt. Everything else is plastics. So they just all strip their pants. and then she goes, how unsightly. That's what she said. She said, how unsightly. And he goes, like the leader at the time goes, no, this is not unsightly. We have no shame. We pose for the calendar every year.
Yeah, we do the nude firefighter calendar every year. We know no shame.
And yeah, we know no shame. And then he goes on, and then she goes, does that make a lot of money? And I'm like, good answer. Good question. And he goes, I guess you wouldn't know, but yeah, they sell like crazy.
That's amazing.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great.
The image too is just like because they're wearing their firefighter coats, which are just like big, and it's just they look like children wearing like their dad's t-shirt with no bottoms, right? Like they're just standing there in like a bathrobe essentially with no bottoms. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's immediately spins the fight on its head to just being like this serious, like, oh no, they're about to die, to just turning into this like comical. Of course, the 8th would do this because they're the only people who could survive a fight like this, and they do it the most unconventional way possible.
Yeah.
And I laughed that whole time. Like,
Me
I
too.
just was having a great time on that one.
Yeah,
it felt
it's
like
heavy
the
on the
episode could have
fan
been longer.
service. It's heavy
Yeah.
on the fan service for Tamaki, and I know that's a complaint for a lot of people, where they're like, "Oh, it just draws away from the show." I feel like in this episode, it was more of a payoff than anything because it's happened so many times as a joke, but this time it was the thing that actually like saved the day.
Saved it. Yeah.
So it's not a
It's
joke
the quirk
anymore.
that actually was like part of like, okay, if this didn't happen, they probably wouldn't have succeeded.
Yeah, and of course they're gonna get their like cat girl panty shot in there, like it's anime,
Yeah.
right? That's what it is. So I guess viewer discretion advised. If that kind of stuff upsets you, probably don't watch this episode. But at this point, you know it's coming.
If you've watched up into episode or season 3, you know it's coming.
Yeah.
But then, anyways, Octopus Girl, don't know her name right now.
I'll tell you, Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa shows up and she can control like things like her tentacles are magnetic, right? They have magnetic fields, so she can disrupt Gold's magnetic fields. And our witch firefighter, she just throws those metal things at her, but it's messing with the magnetic fields. But Gold is actually figuring out ways around that during that whole time. And this episode is pretty crazy towards the end, right?
Yeah, Licht comes up with the plan, and they kind of just trust him in his madness at this point because he's bailed them out of a couple really weird scenarios with really weird plans, 2 or 3 times to this point. And so they're like, all right, like, we'll go with whatever crazy thing you got. And his idea is, let's cover her Gold with iron, and that will disrupt the magnetic field. According to Licht, like whether this is sound science, I'm not arguing whether it is or isn't. This is a fantasy show. Like, come on, guys, it's an anime. It's like it doesn't have to be so believable. So they come up with this plan to use Tamaki's tail, which he like turns into like a bowl basically, and they just throw screws and bolts and whatever they've got.
Oh, I totally forgot. That's the second raunchy part of the show, right? Like she's just sitting here in her awkward cat pose and in like melting things off her butt. Like
and then they throw the thermite bomb in there to do like the ultimate like spicy fart like out the back and just create a fireball of whatever to melt down the iron. It's so juvenile and so stupid. But like honestly, I was laughing so hard. So,
but the scene right after that, it immediately goes from comical to just pure seriousness.
Yeah,
right.
They tell that line really well.
Yeah. So they finally coat the thing in gold, and next up, what's his name? I always forget his name. No.
That's all going on in the background anyway. Burns is standing there getting warmer. It's like a Dragon Ball Z like build up.
Hinawa. Right?
Yeah, so he's the guy who uses all the guns, and he just drops the best shot. Gold has a target right in the middle of her forehead. He nails it. End of Gold. Like that was so fast. I was like, oh my god, it's over.
So stark, and it just kind of reminds everybody that like human life is real fragile, and even when they have all these superpowers and things like that, one misstep and it's over like that. And it just drops him, and it cuts to I think the coolest shot of the show, where it kind of slow motions as the bullet casing lands on the ground, and then Tamaki comes landing into frame with her cat stuff, and I'm just like, oh, that was ice cold. That was so good. Love that.
That's really good intensity, real emotional stakes. I love that.
Yeah, and I'm super excited. I'm already excited for that. I'm like, I do want Burns to warm up, a little bit more. But like, I'm excited for the next episode. Really, do we get Arthur in this episode? Right,
we do. So then after Gold just gets dropped, the other 2 dudes who are with her are like, okay, we'll step up and fight. But only one of them steps up, and then they're like, well, aren't you gonna try and take us together? And he's like, no, we only fight solo. And I'm like, of course you do, because it's anime. That's how anime fights work. He's the boss. He's the next boss. His name is Storm, or
he
something
starts
like
to
that.
wreck the team.
Because
it's
looking
steam.
real bad.
He uses water steam, right?
That's right.
Like he uses moisture and firepower.
Stream, I think is that what they call? I don't know.
Stream or storm or steam, something like that. And he's about to kill Hinawa, like who just got rid of Gold. The tides have turned again, just like that. And then we get our knight in shining armor.
Which again, their quirks are what are making them so much more enjoyable this time around, right? Like Arthur's like lackadaisical thinking. Really, still he got himself there, and he slices through his opponent in like seconds. It's it's like it wasn't even a fight for Arthur, right?
He literally just does the like samurai like. And the guy's just dead. You're like,
it's again stark, finished.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then meanwhile this is happening in the background. We have Burns and Shinra going at it. Obi's still tied up. And the episode ends in the most like WTF way because they bring the Adela bug in and they just stick it right on the side of Obi and it squirms in and we get him like screaming almost demonic-esque. And then it just ends right there. Like, come on. So we don't really know. Is he gone, full infernal, or is he resisting?
He's just gonna
we don't know what's going to happen yet.
Find out next time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course. We get the
Ball Z.
Exactly. Next time on Fire Force. But I will say, like, I thought it was probably one of the most fun episodes we've had in a little while.
It flashes back to Arthur's foot. And it goes like foot.
Bing, bing, bing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. Yeah, and you totally called that last episode. You're like, you guys, his foot's on frame. It's really like blink and you'll miss it moment. And sure enough, it was right there.
No, like I literally was like, oh my God, are they going to mention that Arthur fell into the truck? And then I go and I watch episode 4 and I'm like, okay, good. They mentioned that Arthur fell into the truck an episode later. Like they
and everyone is mad at
to
him. Everyone's like, yo, dude, what the heck? We're dying here. And you're off just like doing whatever. He's like, oh, sorry, I fell off my steed. It's pretty solid.
Oh gosh, that's gonna be. And do you think he's gonna like if they tell him like if Captain Obi goes full infernal and they tell him that's Obi, do you think he'll be like, no, that's a demon? Like, is he gonna differentiate? Because I don't know if Arthur does.
Talks about like leadership and like allegiance and like how, at what point does allegiance shift? As a human, like when do you draw that line?
Well, and part of it too is like, what would Obi want, or like WWOD? What would Obi do, right? Like, would he want them to keep him alive? I think not. I think he would want them to take him out because he's now a threat to.
But that's not how anime works. Like
exactly.
Like you don't punch a hole through your best friend. The bad guy punches a hole through your best friend, right? Yep. Like that's not what you want to do.
Ace.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's again the bad guy punches a hole through him, not the good guy.
Yeah, unless you're Femto and Griffith, but that's a
okay,
whole.
Never mind, I'm done. I've lost. See you guys.
No, but you're right. Like that's not how anime works. It's what they want our brains to think because we're programmed to think of it in like traditional storytelling tropes where this is what's going to happen. But I think there's, like you mentioned, I think 2 episodes ago, there's got to be like a third option for Obi, right? Like it's not demon or not demon. There's something in between.
There's gonna be a revelation.
We just haven't really figured out yet.
There's steel. There's pecks of steel, dude. He's got a body like none other, right? Like he's totally just gonna. He's probably gonna eat. They're probably gonna make him do a pillar. That's probably what's gonna happen. He's gonna get a power up.
I mean, this whole time he's been like fighting without any powers and still holding his own. But I think secretly he does have a power. It just like hasn't been put to a name yet.
Hasn't got a bug.
Yeah, and the bug's gonna kick it into
Maybe
high
he's an
gear.
exterminator, like it just dies and then unleashes his power. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see.
Watch
But
it be like Captain
I'm
Birds.
really intrigued for episode 5, and I
Obi.
can't wait to see where it goes. And it feels like it's just gonna keep ramping until the season kind of hits its last episode before we go on break for the second half of the season. Which I simultaneously love and hate 2 core seasons. I love it because you get more. And that's always good, but I hate it because it's like you just don't get to the part you want to, quick enough.
Like knowing that, like I will get my love of One Piece every Sunday. You know, like I just get to see it every week is super nice.
Yeah,
like it's really hard to take a break when it's like ramping up.
Yeah, well, and One Piece just did a break, and it was like one of the first breaks they did like ever.
Yeah, that's a long one.
Yeah, and that's crazy for them. So like every other anime, that's just like industry standard. And here's One Piece just chugging along. Like, gosh,
I think it was good because he's announced
insane.
a couple times that he increased the length of the episodes. So instead of the episodes covering like half a chapter, they now cover like 3/4 of a chapter. Yeah, and like he's also like the writing is really close to the animation, and so I think to give the Elbaf arc space as they animate, there's a lot of space now. So I think it's good. I think when the manga, I think that's how it should be. It should be at least one arc ahead.
Yeah, I think so. And it gets like anime gets really weird when they adapt too closely because some parts of manga just make sense in a manga. Like when they do like a move and then they call out like, oh, he did this thing and that's why I couldn't attack him, and they have to explain it to you, and it's like, well, duh, because you're showing me static images, like how would I know what happened? But then when they do that in the anime, you're like, yeah, I just saw him do it, why are you telling me? I'm not a moron. And so sometimes when they adapt it too close like that, like giving some time to let it breathe and then just adapting it the way that it should be is better, and I think that'll serve One Piece really well.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think so too.
Okay, so you want to go on to Kowloon?
Yeah, it's between
romance.
you guys. Kowloon ends on a pretty big cliffhanger, but To Be Hero X also does. So it's like, what do you guys want to talk about?
I say let's end on To Be Hero X because I think to be honest, I think more people in the anime sphere are watching To Be Hero X than they are watching Kowloon.
Which is a shame. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's kind of
Kowloon
a shame.
is
Like
good.
Kowloon is great.
So
But it's not
don't
everybody's
pass
cup of
Kowloon
tea.
up.
Yeah, if you're sleeping on it or thinking about it, it's definitely, I think, one of the must watches of this season. Spring, like historically, isn't a great season to begin with. Like summer is the big show, and everyone knows it. And I think a lot of people don't want to release that close to summer, just to get buried in the hype of something that's coming next. So spring historically, at least in my experience, has been kind of like mid. But this spring, I don't know, man. Between
These are
Kowloon,
strong.
To Be Hero X, and Fire Force, like this is a strong season. And I know a lot of people are not liking the season, but they're just watching the wrong shows. Like, let's be honest, you're watching the wrong stuff.
I think maybe you're taking it too seriously. Like,
Yeah,
you just
exactly.
enjoy
Like,
it.
calm down and just enjoy the anime, man. Like, anime is gonna come out every season, whether you watch it or not. So it's up to you to hate it or not.
Yeah.
You decide. But I'm of the mindset of like, hey, I'm gonna have a good time all the time if I can. So I'm gonna try and enjoy all these anime. And Kowloon has been one that I've really enjoyed. And this episode, holy crap, has been a good one. So let's dive into it. I think this might be one of the ones where it's just like episode 4. So with this one, we start out with Kujirai B, aka the original Kujirai, and Kudo having dinner, and it's flashing back to Kudo's like welcome to Kowloon party. And we find out that Kowloon was demolished and had been illegally rebuilt. And we'd have references of this in the past where they called it like the second Kowloon or whatever. So now we know officially that is what has happened.
So that brought up a whole question in my mind, like of like this: how does a city get illegally rebuilt? Like, is it next to the old city? Is it like in a different area?
Or does it have something to do with this Terra thing? Like, is it?
I'm thinking like
supernatural?
terraform, right? I'm thinking like,
Right.
is this on another planet? Like, is this just a copy on another planet? Like, I have a lot of questions about what the hell Kowloon is.
Yeah. I kind of took it as like, and I don't know, maybe like this could be like a touch of tism where I'm taking things way too literal type of thing. Like I kind of took it as like they shut down the city, like it's not safe to live here, moved on, forgot about it, and the people were like, no, we're gonna come here, and then just lived there and kind of built it back up anyways. That's kind of how I took it. But knowing this show, like chances are it's another world or another city or like a duplicate somehow. Like
There's two
it's,
Kowloons.
it's the Lost Atlantis or something. Like who
Yeah.
knows with this show, honestly.
Like the island.
So yeah, we get that information, and then we get Kudo and Kujirai's first kiss, which honestly I thought was pretty, like, as far as romance goes, like that was a good moment. Like a lot of romance shows don't do that until the final episode. We're getting it here pretty early. It's like this really nice, like kind of cute moment where these two characters are obviously into each other and they're having this good time, and they're both a little drunk because they've been drinking and eating and whatever. And so it's just a natural, nice, like this is how romance goes. And I like that. And then we smash cut to Kujirai A, aka the one that we know in today, and she's waking up from fainting from the end of last episode. If you remember, that's kind of where that one ended. And she's in Kudo's place. And so she's kind of immediately like, what the heck's going on? Where am I? Like that weird moment when you wake up and you don't know how you got there. Not that that's ever happened to me or anything.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe in the older days, a past life. I don't know. Yeah. We'll just pretend that never happened. And so she's like, how do I get back home? I don't have my key. And he's like, I have your spare. And he's like, do you want to know how I have your spare? And she's like, no, like, spare me the details. But like, we know they were hooking up. Like, he has her key from the past.
Well, we know, but like, I mean, you got to think how creepy that is for a girl. Like, he's sitting here, she wakes up at his place after being on a nice date and passing out. Right? Oh no, yeah, right. Like she passes out at work. Is that
she
right?
passed out on the roof when they were burning trash. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was at work. Now I'm in your apartment. You have a key to my place. Like this guy he's a creep. That's the theme of the episode. He's a creep.
Yeah, there's so many creeps in this show. Oh my god.
Yeah. So like from there, she's like, I don't want to know. And Kia's hands her the spare. Like, you take it back. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. Like, classy move on his part for being a creep.
Yeah. Then we get this weird conversation. So it cuts to I think his name's Gale, the tea house guy, and the creepy doctor. Gwen. Yeah, Gwen. Yeah. Gwen and the creepy doctor pharmacist dude, and they're in disguise, aka just like wearing Hawaiian shirts and flip flops, walking around Kowloon, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, those are some pretty good outfits. I'm not gonna lie. Like, as far as anime fashion goes, that was like an 8 out of 10. Pretty solid.
Yep.
So they're walking around talking, and he says like, I don't like that there's like a second version of me out there. But like all this talk with Kujirai and how she's kind of still falling in love with Kudo makes me think that my clone would love you as well. And that's the first time we hear clone. And we kind of like were theorizing that might be one of the things that was going on here. But yeah, we basically just get like an official, like, yeah, there are clones here, and this Gwen dude has one.
And they're not like your like grown from fetus clone, right? Like, I'm thinking because he said like your crow's feet or whatever have been there since the beginning, right? They weren't made, like, and he's surprised how warm she was for not being real or like a clone. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, and to add to that, we get this weird line where he says, like, oh, she's got that beauty mark on her eye. And then the doctor goes, like, what are you talking about? Moles are not duplicated in clones. So now I'm like, what the hell's going on? Again, like, I thought I knew, I thought I had a grasp. Is Kujirai even a clone at this point? Like, or is she like some sort of like advanced clone? Or is she, original with like memory, like, white? I don't know.
Or is this Jurassic Park? Life finds a way. Right, like, is there like the Kujirai that we know and love is gone, doesn't exist anymore, but this nostalgic piece of memory, this clone, is more than what you thought it was. It's more of her than we thought it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I think future episodes that'll play out, but it definitely like is scratching that weird part of my brain that like hardly ever gets scratched, and so I like it. But it's also like when you like, like you use a Q-tip and you go a little too far and you're like, it's a little bit of that too, where it's like, okay, stop scratching. Like, now I'm weirded out. I'm trying to still piece this together. Like, slow down a bit. Like,
I'm just thinking it's a murder mystery. That's what it feels like. I want to know what happened. It feels like a mystery. I really want to know what happened. And not a lot of shows really get me going. Like, I need to know more. This one is like, I really want this to play out.
Especially ones where you can't guess the end. Those are the ones that I tend to love the most, is like when you're like, I didn't even see that coming. Like, no way, there's no way. Because most of them you're just like, oh yeah, this person's gonna be with this person. Then at the end of the show, you're like, oh, yep, there it is.
Well, we kind of like already know. Like,
that's cool.
They'll probably end up together. But how did
we
end
up dead?
Will they?
Yeah, but how did we get here? Like, are these two right for each other? Is the question.
Dylan and I are on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we get this weird. We get this weird line, from her friend Yaume is her name, and she's like, they're talking, and she says, oh, by the way, like Gene Terra or Generic Terra was doing research into clones, and I found this post, but it's like long been deleted. And I'm like, okay, now the conspiracy theory part of my brain is going, like, what's going on? There's some deeper thing going on here. But they weren't called clones in the research. They were called zirconia. And she mentions, I have zirconia earrings. They're basically fake diamonds. And she shows them to Reiko. And Reiko's like, yeah, but I want to be the original. Like, I want to sparkle for being me. And she goes, well, look at it. Like, just because it's zirconia doesn't mean that the sparkle isn't real. And I thought that was such a good line.
And as a millennial, it's like, yeah, zirconia is no different than diamond. Who would ever know? Right? It's just right.
We got to survive somehow, man. We're not killing the wedding industry, I promise. We're just not spending $1 billion on stuff.
The man-made diamonds aren't that bad, okay? They do their job.
Yeah.
The shiny, does it make me say ooh? Yeah.
But is it any less real? Does it, like, just because it was found in nature versus being created, is it any less real? And I think anime does explore that a lot. Like, I think back to the homunculus from Full Metal, right?
Yeah.
Just because you don't have a soul, does that mean you really don't have a soul? Because, like, all of you are feeling emotion.
Makes you, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You are truly, like, feeling the things we're feeling. Father is probably the only one who actually seemed to understand that he did have a soul, right? Like, because he was aging and he was, like, experiencing life in a normal way. And I kind of think back to that when I'm thinking, like, well, you are you. Like, you're not someone else.
What makes people you, and that's the nostalgia, the love, the experiences that make that person versus.
Well, and I think, like, you brought up that ship of Theseus idea, and it kind of brings that back up. Like, is this are you if you're made from someone else, or if your parts aren't you, right? What makes you? Are you the sum of your parts or the experiences?
Right.
Right.
And they hit on that again in this episode, because there's this moment where they say, where Yalmei's trying to get Reiko to move out of her apartment. She's trying to convince her, and she, like, refuses, and Yalmei just can't understand it and is like, you know, just kind of set in her way and won't understand it. And she says, Reiko says to her, like, it's a fragment of my other self. And I feel like if I let that fragment go, like, she goes too. And, like, speaking of, like, fragments of the past self, it makes me think of the beauty mark. That's a fragment of a past self. I'm like, it's this theme of, like, these small fragments still making up a whole.
Crow's feet. Right?
The crow's feet, yeah.
Those are all evidence that she did exist.
Right. So it is, like, hammering on these themes, like you talked about, the ship of Theseus, like, all this stuff. It just keeps bringing it up in different ways every time.
But it's also, like, nature versus nurture. Does she like Kudo because she's attracted to Kudo, or because she's Kujirai A, right? Like,
right.
And, like, it also brings up that same idea, like, speaking from a dad standpoint, right? Like, am I the way I am because my dad's this way, or am I this way because I'm this way?
Dude,
like,
I have this, like, internal battle with me all the time.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're, like, obviously we can't control the way we're raised. We can't control the way that we're brought up, but we want to always try and make a better version of ourselves for our kids, right? So that they have a good version. And inevitably we're still going to mess up, and we can't control, you know, they can't control how we're raising them, whatever. It's a cycle, but we always try to do, you know, better. And so I always have this internal thing, like, am I the way I am because of my parents, or am I the way I am in spite of my parents? You know what I mean? Or in spite of my upbringing.
Yeah, like, and how do you achieve that authenticity?
Right.
Yeah.
But
without those experiences, would I be as, like, the good things about me be there, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the tough part. And I think maybe that's why the show is so engaging to me, because I feel like I'm in a place in my life where I'm really contemplating this all the time, because I have kids, because I am a dad. Like, it's just hitting on things that I'm already thinking about in my own life, and it's just mirroring it back to me. And all the best stories do that. They hold a mirror up to you and let you just kind of see yourself reflected in it, right? And this show does that perfectly.
Next episode, there's going to be a mirror. Just watch.
The Black Mirror.
Yeah, the Black Mirror. So then we go on to Zhao Hei is having a housewarming party, and they want to invite Kudo. He says no thanks, gives him money for the party, but surprise surprise, he shows up anyways, because Zhao Hei is, like, this annoying little girl who, like, forces him to be there, basically. But we get this amazing shot where they're standing on opposite sides of the door when the party's over, and they both kind of, like, they shut the door, and then they both kind of go back to reach for each other, and it's both of them on either side of the door, kind of with their hand on it. That moment was so powerful to me for some reason. Like, again, it goes back to, like, you can pause any moment of the show and just, like, yep, that's art. That was one of those moments right there.
I think that's why that's a summer, like, vacation spot. Like, I want to go to that sweaty, stinky city, and like it's just, like, every scene is like that. Like, I can pause and go, I could be on that street. I could be there eating. Like, I could eat soup like that.
Yeah. Then we go to Kudo and Reiko go out for a smoke and talk about the creepy doctor. He's only got the one cigarette, so he's like, too bad, it's mine. And, like, you'd wish, like, oh, come on, man, share a smoke and, like, be a good guy. But then you can tell he's still jealous about that doctor kissing her, because he, like, goes in on her like he's gonna kiss her, and she kind of is like, ooh, like, I might like this. And he just blows smoke in her face and is like, you leave yourself too open. Like, what are you doing? Just like totally throwing it back at her. And I'm like, oh, that was such a dick move. Like, he's right. He's right. But like, that's such a dick move. So like, he's still got, you know, he's still a flawed character. And I think it's important to constantly show that, especially with where we're getting to at the end of this episode, right? Like,
yeah. So like,
crap.
again, the theme is he's a creep. Because where this episode ends, like, I think the writers are trying to make you feel like a creep. So Preston, did you get a chance to see the end of this episode? There's a huge spoiler, right? Yes. So this is great. Do you want to take it from here?
No, well, the one you go ahead with that one. I have this other one I'm trying to make sure I don't forget because it has to do with the goldfish, and it was something that was like an aha moment for me.
Okay, at the end of the episode, right? Like, they're walking out of this party, they're leaving, they're going down one of those dark alleyways, and she asks the question that has been on all of our freaking minds: what the heck happened to Kujaraya B?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
and he even asked, what do you know?
Yeah.
What do you know about your past? Like, he wants to make sure he gets his story like straight.
Keep it straight.
Right?
Now,
like, that part was crazy to me.
Now, classic anime trope. He takes his hand and brings it up to his head, and there's a dark shadow that comes over him, and he's just like, he's standing with his back towards her, and he starts manically laughing, and he says, I killed Kujaraya. Like, right? Yep. And you're like, what? Wait, what? I cannot believe those words just came out of his mouth. Ends the episode right there.
Yeah. And we're kind of getting like these inner splicing cuts between the creepy doctor and Gwen while this is going on. And Gwen is like, I did tell her that she no longer exists in this world. But I don't think it was on purpose. I think it was like something went wrong. So it kind of lets you know, like, maybe it was an accident that she died, or
like, is this like I killed her on accident like thing?
Yeah.
Or is he killed the idea of her?
Is he laughing because he's so broken? Like, you know, like when something's so hard, the only way to get through it is just by laughing at it. Like, is it that kind of thing? Or is this
it the
dude
Joker?
Like, yeah, or is he like a serial killer who's just like, oh, you're my next victim?
Well, and like, think about the location here. You're in Kowloon. You have all these buildings above you. You're in a dark alleyway. You can't see much, but the boy toy that you've been like toying with this whole episode is manically laughing in this dark alleyway, saying he killed the other version of you. Like, 100%, this episode's theme is he's a creep.
Yeah. Okay, so Preston, you had an aha moment with the goldfish.
So the goldfish. Fill us in. So the goldfish. So one of the things. How much do you guys know about goldfish and their reproductive systems?
I know that it's success.
0.
Like.
So I'm gonna probably say this wrong because it's spelled gynogenesis.
Okay.
Gynogenesis. But essentially, it's a form of self-cloning.
Oh.
And so when we start seeing all of these little goldfish everywhere, I was like, when I saw the goldfish, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, maybe it's a goldfish because like she has the memory of a goldfish, or like I just kept getting stuck on it because they keep showing the goldfish, But then I was looking at it, I was like, wait, like then when you started talking about the clones and they started talking about the clones, I didn't piece this together until like 5 minutes ago when I was like, wait, okay, like how does this A to B? And so when I was looking it up on Google, they say, yes, female goldfish can reproduce through a natural process called genogenesis, which is essentially a form of self-cloning. This process allows them to create offspring that are genetically identical to themselves without needing a male.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to get into some weird, like, freaking Neon Genesis type stuff. So
maybe
she's going to be like birthed out of the old body, like horror style.
You need 2 goldfish to make this work?
Let's see. This one says...
Is it just 1 goldfish?
It said without the male, right?
I'm looking. It says without the male, so it says it doesn't need a male for fertilization. She still needs a sperm from another species. Sperm from another species. It goes into like a lot of different things, but in here it basically says that they can replicate with koi fish. They can replicate with like lots of different ones. So maybe it has something to do with like aliens.
So she's not Kujaraya. She's different, right? So here's my thinking. Like, second walled Kowloon. I'm thinking city's demolished, but it's like stored data by Terra. By the what is it?
Generic Terra.
Generic Terra. They take a snapshot of it and then they rebuild the city, but they don't rebuild just the walls. They rebuild the people that were in the city upon its like demolition. Cool. And I think like Gwen and Kujaraya were in the city when they shouldn't have been, the first one, and then the second city I think is on another world. This is my theory. This is what I've been thinking this whole time. And
dude,
so
that goldfish thing has now just got me like even more confused than before.
Dude, right? And I hope I hope it's just a red herring and it's like whatever, but like
I don't think so. Everything in this show so far has been very purposeful in its placement.
Well,
because I
everything with
was
this
also
season.
thinking like, why the crap is goldfish in this show? But that makes sense. And the fact that it's called Success, was she a successful self-cloning? Like, dude.
Yeah, like and like I'm thinking back to like Demon Hunter with the spider lilies. I'm like, they're like theme. This anime season absolutely is about theme, right?
Yeah.
Like there is theme going on throughout each one of these episodes. And if the goldfish pays off, like I feel like I just need to run upstairs and tell my wife.
Do it.
It's so hard to watch the show week to week. Like any other time, if we weren't doing this for the podcast, I would just wait until the season was over and I would just binge all 12 episodes because this is painful to watch week to week because it's like every time it ends, I'm just like, no, God, no.
I need more. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to 2B Hero X because we've been dwelling on this show for a while now, and I for good reason. But let's move on. So 2B Hero X episode 4 is called The Commoner, which is a solid name and just totally kind of spoils what goes on in the show. But man, this was my favorite episode, and I think that's my theme for this week. Is like every episode 4 was my favorite episode so far.
But I think that's the theme. Like last time, it's building, setting, everything was just setting. And then the next episode was payoff. Like this is all payoff.
Yeah.
So if you've been waiting for good episodes, 4 is where it's at.
If 2B Hero X has many arcs in the way that Sword of the Demon Hunter does, then this was the conclusion of like the first little arc. And man, it had some good payoff moments. So we ended last time, and I missed this entirely, but Tyler brought it up to me. I guess it was like a post-credit scene in episode 3 where Enlighter captures Moon.
Yeah, so he goes on to the dark side because he's like lost his fame as like an interviewer, and he captures Moon and puts like one of his like weird little robot thingies like on her mouth so she can't talk. And then he's showing her off to the world like, here's Moon, I've caught her, she's not actually dead. And we all know Moon's not actually dead. And so we're all like freaking out. He captured Moon. She ran away. Like, I swear she ran away.
Pulled the mask off. He's going to like completely demolish what he built.
So like we're going to find out that this isn't Nice, right? Nice isn't really the hero, and he's going to rip off everything.
Yeah. And so immediately Nice's score starts plummeting. He gets to the top 10. He does not stay there for more than just like a day. Because as soon as this information comes out, nobody knows what to believe. And the show does a good job of talking to the fickleness of fans. And if you're a part of any fandom, you know how true this is. Like Star Wars fandom, they hate Star Wars more than any other person. Like Marvel fandom, they hate Marvel more than any other person. This is kind of hitting on that same thing. It's like the hero fandoms, they like to hate their heroes as much as they like to cheer for them.
Well, and I think we got that last episode too, when we're getting Mr. Stando, right?
Yeah.
Like he can't even like bend his knees because the fans they believe him as unbending, and Nice's level of perfection is affecting how he's going to save Moon during this episode. So the episode starts with technically it starts in episode 3, right, where we see Moon, and then it's going to flash right into that, right?
Yeah, and so Nice is trying to go save Moon. His like company who manages him is like, don't do it. We don't want you out there. But not only that, the fans are out there with signs like, don't go, it's a trap, don't go. And because they will him not to go, he literally cannot leave. He like tries to and then just like collapses.
But
I
think there's numbers on his wrist.
Yes, I think that's his ranking, right?
Yeah. But that's about people I think believe in him. And I think there's this other level of like, there's the version of you that everyone sees, but then there's this self-inside version that is a little bit more powerful than the perceptual version of you.
Yes, absolutely. It speaks so well to like the handcuffs of fame. And like they like pretty much call that out in this episode. Like he's chained to his persona to the point where he literally cannot do what he wants to do because people don't want that of him, or they don't expect that from his persona.
But I think, isn't that what makes a great hero? Like when chained down or beaten down, right? Like that's exactly what they do, the right thing. And to him, if Moon is truly in danger, whether he's a hero or not, and he's the object of the villain, he's going to do something. He has the power to do something. So he doesn't just like stay in the hotel. He literally drags himself to his mansion's elevator and begins moving.
Yeah,
Love
and
it.
before we get to that point,
Yeah.
this like crew has decided we'll go send somebody else to deal with it. Like we don't want Nice in the public eye right now.
Cleanup hero.
Like he can't go, first of all, but second of all, we don't want this to like tarnish his image even more. So they send up the cleanup crew, and I think they call him Blankster. They send Blankster to go save Moon, and he's like basically like One Punch Man. Like he goes out there, he's like a boxer, and Enlighter's powers are sick. I guess he's called God-eye now, right? Because he's joined the like villain league or whatever's going on in this world. And so he exposes him as a fraud. Like he has some sort of like ability to like search, I don't know how, but like he's basically like a hacker and finds out this dude's past and digs up these videos and these like articles of him being like a fraudster boxer and just projects it to the world. Again, just like hacking how the power system works and using it against him.
But I think that's also
cool.
The villain in this is clearly like almost like a machine villain, like who's like giving information out to people to get them to like break down the hero's persona, because you can't attack the heroes directly, because if you believe they're a real hero, then they're a real hero. But if you attack their persona, they won't be a hero anymore. And so then they're easy to beat.
Like whenever he was looking at people too, like it would flash for just a second on the screen where it'll say like weakness on what the person was, and later when we get to that point, with some of the things that he the commoner comes into play, you see it do it everywhere. There's weakness everywhere, and it kind of like, to me, it was speaking to how vulnerable you have to be as a person to be like, hey, this is me. This is what you think I am. This is me. I'm dropping the curtain. Like, let's go. And
I think that's why we like when like people like like your favorite actors go on like Hot Ones or something, because like I can watch my favorite actor be a person and suffer through something hot like I would. So
it just breaks down the persona. It puts him down. Like as soon as you eat something spicy, you're not Jake Gyllenhaal the actor. You're just Jake Gyllenhaal the guy, right?
Yeah, but also,
or like you're Jennifer Lawrence the girl, not Jennifer Lawrence the actress in all these movies. Yeah.
But you become even greater too at the same time. So I think that's what the commoner is, right? At the end of this episode, he'll become even greater because, as we're referencing, some of his persona is going to drop, right? Yeah. And we look at him as more of a person who is also a hero.
Yeah. So then we get to the point where you were kind of alluding to, Tyler, where he's like shedding his persona and letting his true self out, which is enough to beat the expectations, because he's driven now from his internal drive and less from like wanting to appeal to others, right? He's his own internal force at this point.
As he sheds that persona, as he drags himself to the elevator, do you guys check his hair out?
Yeah, totally loses the nice persona. Yeah.
It starts out with keeping some of the white up here, and then it just slowly fades to brown, and then Link starts to come out.
Yep. And so he ditches. The only thing he's got that makes him look like nice is he essentially has the same pants. And then like a little white shock of hair. But aside from that, like he is Lin Ling. Like he's himself. So he believes he stops believing that he is nice and starts believing that he is a new hero, the hero he was always supposed to be. And what triggers it is this like on the big display that's behind God-eye, somehow this image of or this video that Lin Ling had created previously.
You can be a hero.
You can be a hero too. Plays, and it just calls back to the internal. Like, I remember when I made that, I believed this. Do I still believe this today? And he decides, like, yeah, of course I do. That's who I actually am.
And then there's that scene where he gets down the elevator, right? Like he gets past the guards, down the elevator, and there's that mob of people with the protest signs, and he just books it past them. And that fan that's been being shown, like willing him to not move, right? He just brushes past her as Lin Ling, and no one really notices Lin Ling move past.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was awesome. And then he gets, to Enlighter and just exposes himself, just tells the truth. And honestly, that was so powerful. Like, the truth sets you free is like kind of the message. And I think it's something like we all hear in our lives, and we all kind of believe it, but we don't always practice it. You know what I mean? Like it's something I think so many people hold inherent, is like, you have to be honest and authentic, but then do we really actually do it? No, most of us are masking or putting on the work persona or the dad persona or whatever. And this just like hit hard, where it was just like, no, like you do have to be truthful, especially to yourself and about yourself. Like that's the most truthful you can be.
Well, and I think in anime, like when we're talking about who we would take on vacation, right? Those are the characters that are more honest in the world that they're in, right? You talked about bringing Naruto. I talked about Yusuke Urameshi. They're more honest than the other characters around them. They know who they are, right? And I think Lin Ling's like figuring out who he is. And when he gets up there and he's getting his trash kicked, that same protester comes back and is watching all of this and is realizing, oh my God, I just saw that guy just run past me. He is a hero.
Yeah.
Right?
And then we get just some of the most epic anime stuff of all time. Like if you love an underdog, you're gonna love this episode. Like it hits that underdog trope hard, and like I know as Americans, like we eat that up. Like that's our bread and butter. Like we self-identify as underdogs, even though we're like not. That's like our most favorite, cherished American thing is the underdog.
Yeah. Well, and like that's the best part too. He has this Rocky Balboa moment, right?
Yeah.
Where he has no power, but he's still going toe to toe with this God-eye guy. He's losing terribly, but he gets a couple people to believe in him who start commenting like, well, he's really trying. Like he's really doing it. And he lands one solid hit to the face.
Super headbutt.
Yeah.
And then it makes God-eye just real.
And it doesn't it break his like visor?
Yeah, it breaks the visor, and that's when he sees over and over like everything about what he's seeing says vulnerable. So he's seeing all these weaknesses all over him, and yet he's still that strong. And I'm like, for me, like if you've ever listened to Brene Brown, Power of Vulnerability, that's one of the ones that like really hit me. And so like when you saw that, and you're like, this is a visual representation of that, right? How he's gaining that power by being that vulnerable, and it's cool.
Yeah, that's such a cool message, and one that like I don't think we see a lot of. Like we get the underdog a lot. We get the, the guy who just keeps getting back up, right? It's Captain America, right? Like the I can do this all day. We get that. But this takes it just even one step further with the, you're right, like with the I'm vulnerable, therefore I'm powerful, which is so cool.
Well, I hate how this ends. This ends with Lin Ling beating the God-eye, right? Like he gets that one punch in, God-eye's trying to run, he's not letting him run. But when we turn back to look at the moon, like to look at Moon, this is great. It's not Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all a farce. But it still blew up in God-eye's face anyways.
Yeah.
And it's funny that he said that too, like, because it shows how now that God-eye went from being Enlighter to God-eye, and how he was calling out and saying, like, you're a hypocrite. Like, you're hating on all these people for being fake, and here you are showing this fake thing, and like,
creating a fake scenario. Yeah. Well, it wasn't really a fake scenario. Moon does need to be rescued.
Yeah. And I will say this before we get to the Moon thing, because that's what's next. But if you are a Sakuga lover, this episode is like an 100 out of 10 Sakuga. Like the whole fight with Enlighter God-eye is just like, it changes animation style like the show likes to do. It goes back to that kind of like comic booky style. But then even within that style, it still does that like scratchy black and white line art. And it doesn't just do like a single frame. Like it does like a full sequence like that. And oh my gosh, I was just like visually, I was just eating this up. I was like, oh my, I rewind it like 3 times just to watch that. Like that's the type of stuff in anime that just gives me goosebumps, is when like the art matches the intensity of the moment. Holy crap.
Like
there's nothing like it.
Arcane, and I won't spoil it for anybody because I know that's not what we're talking about here, but Arcane in that one specific scenario where there's that what do you call it?
Bestial creature? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, the bestial creature and
yeah.
Oh,
does call
I'm gonna
back
say
to that.
Castlevania, the final sequence in Castlevania. Right, the art matching the moment. I will say, I feel really, I feel like I'm a hater on my favorite show, but like One Piece really failed. I feel like in the Wano arc with this like animation matching the seriousness, because when I'm reading the manga to the last arc, he's fighting a Yonko, so he's fighting like the top tier of all of One Piece, and he's like punching him in his face, and they animated it so bright and too like silly, and I was like, this isn't right, like
cartoony.
Yeah, like because in the frame shot in the anime, it's doing this vertical punch, and if they would have just done a still frame, it would have been even more powerful. Like, and just cut away all the color. Like,
yeah, I think a show that reminds me kind of like where the art matches the intensity, but also still stays sort of cartoony is Mob Psycho. If you've ever watched Mob Psycho, the fight scenes in that maintain that bright, bold, colorful, but then they just go hard with
Do you know what
Sakuga.
I'm thinking of?
It's just
when you're thinking Mob Psycho, that scene where he hits like 1,000 or whatever, and it bleeds over to the detective that
when it goes to
fake what's his name? The fake spiritual detective.
Ray. Oh.
Yeah,
I was contemplating on bringing him on vacation. By the way,
yeah, because then
really
he starts, and that guy starts shooting those things at him. He's just blocking them with his hands, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Like, this is a child's toy, and he breaks the sword. Yeah,
exactly, right? Like that's one of those moments where the art and the animation go really well together because it's all really epic until he breaks the toy. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So but anyways, if you love Sakuga, you'll love this episode. And then we get just this devastating ending. Who wants to take it? Who wants to hit us with the truth bomb? Because boy, it hurt.
Wait, the truth bomb?
Well, I guess it's not a truth bomb. The truth to everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Because that moon was a fake. We know Moon is
gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Moon's a fake.
Moon's on this island, right? She's trapped. She can't get out because she left her teleporter.
She said, I want to go where no one else can find me. And it just happened to be a deserted island in the middle of nowhere, and then left her teleporter behind. And she's like, well, I'm here. I'm going to die. Like,
she Jack Sparrowed herself. She's surviving on rum and lassoing sea turtles.
Yeah. So I think this is the best part of the episode. Everyone realizes Moon is actually dead, not alive. They like Lin Link has gone way up, and I'm sure in the next episode we'll see that he's going to go way up in the rankings really fast, or people are going to be wondering what happened to Nice. Did Lin Link kill Nice? Like, they're going to want to know all this. But I think what's really funny is that Moon is just sitting on this island, like you guys said, lassoing sea turtles, and I think it's really a fitting ending because he realizes why he became a hero, and Moon is one of those reasons. He really loves Moon, so he uses Moon's gun and he goes and gets her.
I loved the part where she has the bottle. Because I've always thought this to myself. I'm like, how do you throw it far enough that it doesn't just come back to the island?
Yeah.
And so she throws it, and then it goes, poof, and then comes right back.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of them.
The sad thing is it pans out. Yeah, I was just going to say, it pans out, and there's like 100 bottles.
Like, she's really trying to get off this island.
Poor girl.
Like, she's not just being a helpless victim. She's really trying. And then when he shows up, like, it kind of feels bad, though, too, because I felt really bad for her, because it's like she ran away from this lifestyle she hated to a desert island, and then where's she really running back to? She's going right back to that lifestyle, right? Like, they're gonna call her back.
Well, and she was feeling isolated while she was a hero, and that's what she hated, was the feeling of isolation, not being able to do what I want. Like, she's with all these people, but she's isolated. And then the place she escapes to is just actual isolation, which is like, it's not much better. She just went from the same situation to the same situation with less noise.
So I think we need to dye her hair and like let her go live on vacation, like maybe in
just give her glasses.
Tokyo.
It works for Superman. Why not?
Yeah. Just give her some glasses. Make her be like one of those streamer girls, and put her, have her go on Twitch and just play video games and enjoy her life.
Take one from Apothecary Diaries and just put freckles on, and that, totally different person.
Exactly. Moon was trying too hard.
Yeah, and then it just is sadness from there.
I mean, it's just the end of the episode, really, like, because like it ends with them hugging, right? I'm not crazy, or did I miss something?
No, you missed something. They
hug. No, oh god, yeah, I remember.
And then
never mind.
out of the background, all over the vision of the camera, aka Lin Ling's view.
I don't buy it.
The thing is, we've already been teased with her death, right?
But
she was dead
on
in her bed,
floor in the same position.
That's what I'm saying. I like, a while when that first happened, I was like, does he have a gift of foresight where he's seeing her dead, but it's not the right scenario? And now here's the actual truth of it? Or is this yet another false flag where he's seeing her die, later on?
I don't
know, because there's a villain in the background this time.
Or is it the type of vision that's not like, it's not like this is exactly what's going to happen. It's like reading tea leaves where it's like, hey, yeah, this is bad things are happening. And then you realize, oh, it wasn't this thing. It was another.
I think the first time was the vision to this time, because if you see in the background after Moon just explodes, which is so sad and shocking, there's a villain in the background in like he's like in a Sentai suit. He looks like a Power Ranger just chilling out in the background.
Okay, so let me get So if I remember correctly, Moon steps through the portal, and then or does she on the island?
She's still on the island. They're
See,
about to go through the portal, and then just drill
that's
in the head.
that's the thing is like the first time you see her dad is in the bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was thinking like, well, maybe she stepped into the apartment, her brain gets ventilated, and then like she like dies in the apartment. But she's not on the island in the same form. I'm wondering if there's some memory stuff going on that we don't know about with this hero stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like if they're messing with their memories or
well, and how did
clones.
that guy get there? Because Lin Ling's the only person who knows where she is.
Well,
So how were they following him?
Could have been her manager. Because her manager, she would have motive to be like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want her to come back because I just took him from like we lost everything. Now we're here. I'm not gonna go back down here again. Like,
Yeah,
Because if
I
she
don't
does
know.
come back. But it's also motivation. Like Moon is legitimately dead now. The story arc for these heroes are real now, right?
Yeah.
Lin Ling did lose Moon.
Is this his Uncle Ben moment for the commoner? He's like, it's his Uncle
This
Ben.
is his
No.
revenge story. This is his Spider-Man, I'm gonna let
is
this guy
my
die
fight
moment.
song.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I just every episode was just a WTF at the end. Every
Seriously.
single one except sort of the Demon Hunter,
Well,
which
this
had
one,
a nice little bow on it, and all these other ones I'm like, what the? I'm losing it, man.
Well, and we've been talking.
I'm crashing out.
We've been talking for so long, and it just feels like we could talk for longer on this. Like these episodes
there's
were
so much.
really, really, really good, and I feel like if you guys are gonna pick them up, like at this point, like if you're just listening to us now, like pick them up. You've got 16 episodes to watch. You
For a ride.
have plenty of content to jump right into. Like these are good.
Yeah. It's been a solid season, and I can't wait to see where this goes next. And don't you even worry about it. We're going to talk about it next week, because that's what we do on this show. It's a watch along. We'll catch up if you aren't caught up, and if you are caught up, I hope you're crashing out alongside us, because like holy crap, it's been a good season. But on behalf of the Dad-ime crew, I'm Dallin, that's Tyler and Preston, and we will catch you all next week as we take on episode 5. We got to reset up for what's coming. All right, see everybody. Bye.